he asked Marco, well, what job did you do? And then Marco talked about the casino. And then he gave the ridiculous thing that the casino was a pyramid. Now, quite simply, this is what a pyramid is. This is what a pyramid is not. If every single person is getting paid, then it's not a pyramid. It's not a pyramid scheme, and it's not a pyramid. Sure, you can argue that it's unfair that, say, if you work in a bank, I heard the other day that Citibank has, the CEO earns 486 times more than the average Citibank employee. But it's not a pyramid because every single person that does work for Citibank gets paid. In a pyramid or a pyramid scheme, over 99% of people make zero. And not only do they make zero, the point something of a percent that do make money is making money off the people that aren't making money. Just because, so this is nonsense about your job as a pyramid. It's so foolish, it's so silly, and the idea that a person who is educating people on businesses, in particular home businesses, is saying something so foolish, it's scary. Because I know, this is what scares and upsets me, there's people out there who are going to see him as some sort of authority, some sort of empire-creating guru, and he's not. Do you guys agree with that, though, that if an organisation, if every single person there is being paid, even if it's unfair that the top person is earning 500 times or 1,000 or 2,000 times more than the average employee, that's not a pyramid. In a pyramid, not everybody gets paid. In a non-pyramid, every single person gets paid.
I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that definition. A pyramid in MLM, in the MLM world, a pyramid is where there's little to no retail sales going on. The guy at the bottom isn't going to be making much money because the guy at the bottom doesn't have much volume. And it's not like you're getting paid an hourly wage. You're getting paid 100% commission. So you shouldn't expect to be making a lot of money if you just got started and you're at the bottom. Just like any other business that was non-MLM, let's say you started your own little business doing whatever you want to talk about. It's not MLM, but it's your own little business. You're probably going to be losing money for a certain period of time, maybe a year or two, maybe less, maybe more. But the big difference between a pyramid and a legitimate MLM is the lack of retail sales. That's the definition. You can see that in the Vima and Herbalife cases that the FTC has settlements with. It's such settled conclusion that's a pyramid. It's not. In fact, I saw a comment on Marco's video recently from one of the really stupidest people I've ever seen. Her name is Pam McLaughlin or something. I can't remember her last name. But she said a pyramid is where the people above you are making money, off of the downline. That's not the definition of a pyramid. That's true in an MLM, but that's not what makes it a pyramid, and it's not what makes it wrong. What makes it wrong is lack of retail sales, and how the anti-MLM hunts can't get that through their brains. I just don't get it. I'll keep repeating it, though, because that is what an illegal pyramid is lack of retail sales. It has nothing to do with the levels. It has nothing to do with whether you're getting paid or not paid. It has nothing to do with those things. It's whether you have retail sales or not, and that's it.
Now, let's stick to, though, if you want to examine an organization and figure out if it's not a pyramid scheme, if every single person there is being paid, then it's not a pyramid scheme. That's how you know something is not a pyramid scheme. McDonald's is not a pyramid scheme. You can say a lot of things about McDonald's, the way they treat their workers, it's not very good, but they're not a pyramid scheme. And the reason why it's not a pyramid scheme is because every single person that works at McDonald's gets paid.
It's apples and oranges, though.
Yeah, I understand the nuance that you're trying to say, Glenn, because, like, for instance, at McDonald's, which has a structure that looks like a pyramid, if everybody's being paid, then it's not a pyramid. But problem with that is if you reverse it, meaning if they're not being paid, it is a pyramid. That part I don't agree with. So the idea that employees get paid, regardless of the structure, doesn't.
I'm just looking at what's not a pyramid now.
Yeah, I understand I understand where you're coming from, but it's not a good definition of what a pyramid is. The better definition of a pyramid
is a pyramid. I'm not talking about what is. I'm just going to focus on what isn't. If every single person is getting paid, then it's not a pyramid. Let's not worry about what is.
So let's call it more like a job.
When Vince says that a casino is a pyramid because of a pyramid structure, no, Vince, it's not. And the reason it's not is because every single person that's ever worked at that casino has been paid. Therefore, it's not a pyramid. Therefore, it's a really, really stupid comparison.
But the only reason those employees can get paid is because there's lots of outside money, people who are not employees, that are bringing money into that business, whether it's McDonald's or the casino. It's not just the employees that are putting into it. And so that is the big difference, is that when you have an illegal pyramid, it's mostly internal purchasing, and there's very little money coming from the outside, whereas any other business outside of MLM, most of the profit is coming from customers, not from people who are employees. And so, again, that's the big difference.
I agree, yeah. In MLM, there is no money coming from the outside. That's one of the main problems. You're 100% spot on about the lack of retail sales being a massive part of the problem. But my point was simply, if you want to figure out if something isn't a pyramid scheme, that's how you figure it out. Has every single person been paid? If the answer is yes, then it's not a pyramid scheme. So
now it might over time become a failed business. However, just because you're getting paid and maybe it's legal, it doesn't mean it's going to be successful long term. There's been lots of businesses that have gone out of business because they can't afford to pay their employees because they're not bringing in enough profit, from customers. And so, it's not the end game that everyone's being paid, because it might be a failed business in the future. So, be careful with that definition, because it's not like it's, a perfect world if everyone's getting paid. But I do agree, if everyone is getting paid, it's probably not a pyramid. I agree with that part of it, but that doesn't get you much as far as, being able to criticize an illegal pyramid. It just kind of separates the two.
It's kind of a confusing definition. So instead of a confusing definition, a more straightforward one would be better. But anyway, let's go back to Vince. So Vince finds out.
Cherokee, Harris Casino and everything.
Sure.
And stuff.
Yes.
Okay. How many slot hosts were at the casino? At your casino
that I worked at?
Mm-hmm.
In total, I was the one of 3 slot hosts, but there was a total of 5 hosts in all to oversee table games and slots. There was 5 of us.
Okay, you know where I'm getting at there, right? Sort of.
No, I don't.
Okay. Did you have a boss?
I did.
Okay, how many bosses did you have?
I had one direct boss.
Did he have a boss?
It was a she, actually. She had, I think, one or 2 people she answered to that were at the very tip top of the casino infrastructure, yeah.
And did that person have a boss?
No.
Okay, so that person was the top of the line, was the president, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You got a pyramid right there.
Sure.
And not only that, I'm kind of surprised that you actually worked at a casino.
Sure.
Do you think that everything that you did was pretty much honest work?
Yes.
Really? How so? I mean, it's a casino. People are losing their shit, basically, on the slot machines.
Yeah, so actually, this is a really, really good line for us to go down. There's 2 points you bring up that I'm going to address. One is it was a pyramid, and 2 is the ethical nature of the casino. First, I want to address it's a pyramid. I get where you're getting this from. this is based on, there was 4 people here or 5 people in my department. There was more people in the department below us. There was lesser people as we go up. And you could draw it out on paper as a pyramid shape. However, something having a pyramid or hierarchical shape does not mean it is a pyramid scheme. What we're talking about when we talk about MLMs and pyramid schemes is that the people who are in the lower tiers, their losses equate to the earnings of the people higher up. So, and also, this is an important part too, is for me to rank up in the casino to the higher level, if I wanted to get to the host supervisor position, which was the job above the 5 of us, it wouldn't be because I recruited 5 other slot hosts or 5 other slot machine technicians, and now I all of a sudden get to call myself senior executive slot manager. It would be because I had the best qualifications, I had experience, I had been working there, etc., etc. And also, my income was not in any way, shape, or form impacted by how many recruits I had under me. That wasn't part of the job. I had a salary, I had hours, I did a certain amount of duties, and that was why I had the job, and that would have been why I went up or down, depending on if I stayed at the casino. I didn't stay at that job too long. So there are key differences aside from the shape. The shape of something doesn't make it a pyramid scheme or a pyramid. And one more example that I want to bring up that I've heard literally countless times from people in MLM is they'll say, well, everything is multi-level. Think about your family. There's your grandma and your grandpa, your mom and your dad, your uncle, your auntie, you, your siblings. Even that's a pyramid. Right, but I don't become an uncle by recruiting 3 brothers and sisters. I become you know what I mean? It's not this mathematically impossible endless chain where everyone's trying to go up by recruiting more people below them. So you can draw anything as a pyramid. You could draw the royal family as a pyramid and say, here's the queen and the king, and here's whatever their name is, Kate Middleton and what Prince Harry or whatever. But is it a pyramid scheme? Of course not. So that's the first thing. That's the response to the first part of it, is you saying that it was a pyramid. Sure, I'll give you that. It was pyramid shaped, just like everything is pyramid shaped.
Like I said, whenever people and I've heard your argument as well as far as a pyramid. I could care less about pyramids or whatever something's called. There's only 2 things that matter to me, is profit and expense.
Perfect.
If I'm doing something and I'm making money, that's good for me there, regardless of the time itself. Now, if I'm spending, let's say I'm